Hello and welcome to haQ. My name is Jakob. I'm your host and you're watching a haQ episode. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how I go about syncing multiple iPads and iPhones together and also recording the audio and whatever is going on inside the iDevice at the same time. Now, some of you might be thinking to yourselves, hold on, what about monitoring? How are we supposed to be able to hear what's going on in these iDevices when we're not using any cables and in effect, well, we don't have any headphones or a speaker plugged in? Well, we're going to be using the internal speakers. Yeah, I know an iPhone is not as loud as an iPad Pro, but legit, I really do this. I do want to stress though that the techniques that I'm using in this video for syncing up all of these iPads and also recording the audio, well, these are techniques that you can apply to a session where you've got everything hooked up by cables too. So keep watching. Now, there are multiple ways of syncing stuff and there are multiple ways of recording stuff. And the techniques I'm going to show you today are very simple. So I usually like relying on Ableton Link. It is a protocol that works over Wi-Fi. And so in order to use Ableton Link, you have to make sure that you're using apps that all support Ableton Link syncing. When you have your apps ready, then you need to make sure that the Wi-Fi is turned on your iDevices. And in my case, all of the Wi-Fi is turned on all 4 devices. Next, what you have to do is to make sure that you turn on the Ableton Link sync. Now, I'm using AUM here, and in this session, I've got Flow Tones loaded up here, which is a synthesizer, and it's running through EOS 2 by Audio Damage, a reverb. And then I have this channel here, and this is only here for my microphone so that I can narrate this episode. So you don't even have to bother thinking about it. Now, I'm using a built-in keyboard inside AUM to play flow tones here, and so you find Ableton Link by clicking on or tapping on the BPM up there, and then we go into the 3 dots like this, go to Ableton Link and turn on Ableton Link. So that's our first app with Ableton Link enabled. Now, as soon as we turn on Ableton Link on the other devices or in the other apps, then they're all going to detect each other and start syncing up. And so before we move on to the other ones, let me just say that this is an iPad Pro 11-inch from 2018 running AUM. Now over here we have an iPad Pro 12.9-inch from 2015 and I'm using Figure on it. Now to turn on Ableton Link, we go to the song page and then we go up to sync. We enable Ableton Link here and turn it on, and there they've detected each other and now they're synced. Next, we move on to this iPad here. It's an iPad Mini 2, so it's fairly old, but it's actually powerful enough to run Pure Acid by Jim Audio. Now, we find Ableton Link Sync by going into the settings here, going to sync, and then turning on Ableton Link right there. Turn it on, and there we go. 3 devices synced. Done. And next we go to this one. This is an iPhone 6s running iK Oscillator, which also supports Ableton Link. We go into settings and then we go to Ableton Link and we turn it on, and 4 devices synced. So now that they're synced, the only thing you have to think about is that not all apps will support start-stop commands. You actually have to manually press play on the apps to get them to play. And it takes a bit of practice, even though they're synced, to get it right and to get stuff to start exactly when you want to. Now, what makes this so hard is that some of these apps are running on different link cycles, like the one inside Figure here runs for, 8 bars or 4 bars? And the one in AUM is running a 1-bar link cycle. Now, in AUM, you can actually change the amount of bars that this cycle runs for. But a lot of these apps don't even have that choice, and some of these apps don't even show a link cycle. So yeah, it can be a bit tricky. Now, there is this one neat feature about Ableton Link that I really like, and that is that you can change the BPM in any of the apps. And when you do, it changes the BPM in all of the apps. Look at this. Oh, I love it so much. Now, some of you might be thinking to yourself, Jakob, why are you syncing up AUM anyways? I mean, it's not like you're running drums or anything like that. You're just basically gonna play a synth, right? Yes, you are right. But if I'm using a patch where I'm using a tempo sync delay, then it's good to have it synced anyway. And of course, there are synthesizers with built-in arpeggiators and sequencers and stuff like that. So yeah, I sync my synths even though in this case, in this session, I really don't need it. Well, the next thing we need to think about is how do we record the audio? Well, if you're using something like AUM, you can easily just, record everything inside AUM. If you're using a DAW that supports Ableton Link, of course, well, you just set up your channels and you start recording in there. Now, some other apps, older apps in particular, a lot of them do actually have built-in recording. And iK Oscillator is actually one of those apps. So you can actually go in here and start live recording and it will record the audio internally. And then you can take the audio and drop it over to another device if you want to edit on that device. And so, yes, recording audio internally on each device is a very viable way of doing it. I have in many, many years, whenever I didn't want to mess around with a multi-channel sound interface and multiple cables. So if you're using AUM on all devices, then that's a good way of doing it, because then you can record the audio and get everything synced at the same time. Even older apps that only support MIDI sync, because the MIDI sync will sync to the host, which would be AUM, which could then sync through Ableton Link and so on and so forth. Now, the way I like doing it, because I'm a content creator, well, I simply screen record everything. But here's the thing, if you are screen recording, then you're also using hardware resources at the same time. And so if your iDevices are older, like my iPhone 6s and my iPad mini 2 here, well, you might not want to sacrifice any hardware resources depending on how heavy the apps you have running are. Well, in this case, I've tested it out. And so this iPad is already screen recording. And then we just go to this one and start screen recording here. And then we go to this one and start screen recording here. I can't even say that properly. And then we go to this one and start screen recording here. Now, screen recording, we record both video and audio at the same time, which is it's the best. Because if you're a content creator or if you like making music videos, well, when you're done with everything, you can just airdrop all of your video onto your main iDevice and then edit it over there. Export the audio with a video editor or just start editing a music video together with the footage that you have. Well, now we have our little family synced up and we're recording with screen recording, so we're getting the audio and video, and all we have to do now is to do a little performance. So let's do that. There, we have something recorded, and all we have to do now is to just stop all of the screen recordings on all of these devices. And then afterwards, when all of the video is saved, we're going to get messages right here, as you can see. Well, as soon as that's done, we just make sure that we turn on AirDrop on all devices, and then we start sending our video over to our main device where we can then continue editing. All right, so sending video over to another device is easy. So we have AirDrop on here, and then we just simply go to our image folder here. Here's our video right there. We grab that and just send it out. And there's our devices. Now, haQ 11, there we go. And it's gonna pop up over here at any moment now, right there. Nice. For any beginners out there, if you are screen recording and you want your audio out of your video, then using a video editor and exporting just the audio out from the video editor is a viable way of doing it. And then again, you might just want to sample it in an app. Well, Koala Sampler supports loading video right into it, so you can get to the audio that way too. If you like this type of content, then why don't you hit me with a like? And if you didn't like it, then a thumbs down is good too, because, you know, it's all about numbers here on YouTube. Well, if you want to support the work I do here, then sharing my videos is a way of showing support. And also, if you want to support me in a financial way, then go check out my music first. I got a full list of links down below. If you don't want to check out my music, then I've got Patreon and PayPal. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's okay too. As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.